Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Tours and Tactics with me, NEligahn. And we're fighting a bear. He is a tough bear that is apparently oh! It's a red bear. That's an evil bear. It's a blue bear. Oh, yes. We are visiting, today, Dreadfall Bay, Dreaming Bay, and Ascension Bay. Which is, of course, Dreadfall Bay in the Green World Borderlands. I'm just going to call it the Bay. This is a blue-held territory currently, and the bear is a blue bear. A blue bear-y? Yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. This is one of the more interesting keeps. Now, I've kind of been using the terms tower and keep interchangeably, but they're technically separate. Each map has towers and it has keeps. What we looked at last episode, Sunny Hill, that's technically a tower because it's smaller. The bay is technically a keep, because it's larger and more complex. And now we're going to pause it, and we're going to look at the map and do a quick analysis of the bay. As you can see, it's a little bit more of a complex construction with an outer wall, 3 gates, and an inner wall with, I believe, 2 gates to it, and a bunch of destructible walls. Now what you're going to be seeing here is our assault on Dreadfall Bay, and it's going to be an example of how quickly situations can turn around on you. There'll be a couple of instances where it might have been beta is beta, but I'm pretty sure it was just poor planning on our part. So, as we resume the video, my original destination was going to be the garrison, which will be in a future video. Blue held. There's a little bit of fighting in front of Dreadfall Bay. But one of the first things you're going to notice here is, of course, spamming the gate, because we've demonstrated that's effective. But we've got a trebuchet. But the trebuchet is positioned far away. It's not within walking distance of the gate. Of course, it is pummeling the gate, but we'll let it slide again because this was still the first beta weekend event. And we're going to speed this up because there's nothing more exciting than watching a bunch of people pound uselessly against the gate. And yes, this is currently 350% speed, as everyone just kind of pounds against the gate. Kills the guards, pounds against the gate. Trebuchet continues to fire at the gate. Nothing real exciting here. Oh, except me falling down. Because the bluebirds were very defensive of the bay. I can't possibly imagine why. And it is almost down. Almost down. So many arrow noises. And as we resume normal speed, we take down a scout. And the gate is going down eventually. Got an empty health bar, it can die already. And there it goes. Open gate, and we charge into Dreadfall Bay. There's just one problem. One of the things you have to realize when you're attacking a keep like this is there will still be enemies inside. And what we'll encounter rather soon is that you're continually at a disadvantage due to the fact that enemies can come from both outside the walls and within the walls. Now, as we approach here, we're going to see one of the first major landmarks of the bay, and that is this massive bridge spanning over the body of water. It is just what it looks like. A massive bridge spanning a body of water. Over there is the keep itself, with all the defenders running around on the pier. We've got the one supply depot. There's actually 2 supply depots in this keep, which we'll see the other one in a bit. And we've got people pounding against this. Oh no, wait, this other gate's already destroyed. Now when we get back to the map, we're going to discuss a couple of strategies that can possibly work for attacking this keep. One of them is not spamming both gates. We've got a wizard here, just one of the other defenders, which indicates they probably upgraded the defenders on the bay, which was smart. And I'm continuing to pound away with my weak little short bow. As the wizard throws lightning. But the one benefit to the NPC guards is that they go down faster than players, as a future little sped up moment will tell you. And he actually succeeds in bringing me down. And someone's complaining about being in pain. Okay. That is a cauldron of boiling oil under construction. You can destroy those. I recommend it. As we've illustrated before, having boiling oil dropped on your head is not a pleasant experience. I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I'm going to kind of go with that from the screams of terror one would hear. But I think I'm pretty destroyed it. Or at least brought it down enough to where it shouldn't be an issue. And there's still fighting going on down there. Fighting going on in the bridge. And I continue the relentless assault with my weak-ass little short bow. Now while we're trying to kill these player characters, as many of you may have known, the next Beta Weekend event has been announced. It is the weekend of June 8th. I will have a video out before then, pretty much illustrating what my plans are and how you out there, my fellow players, can contribute to making strategy better for everyone involved. And we finally kill the bad dude as we reapproach the initial gate that we entered, with the trebuchet still firing at the gate. I don't know why he wasn't targeting the walls just to see what happened, but he's still just kind of firing in front of the gate. Yeah, if you're gonna target something in a trebuchet and you're bored, target the walls. Make another opening. Don't just stand there and fire at the destroyed gate. And apparently the guards fully respawned on the walls. And what looks like the gate closed. Possibly. Now I'm not sure if someone can rebuild the gates after you destroy them. That's something we'd have to test and get some feedback on. Okay. So we're still blindly attacking the keep here. And I'm going to do a little bit of touring in a moment. One of the things I was really hopeful on is, if you remember our tour of Lowlands Keep as we attack another guard, there was an underwater gate. One you could attack and destroy. It was very much my hope that a similar gate existed to the entrance to the bay. As we'll see in a little bit, it does not. Which means your main avenues for attack are pretty much going to be the outside walls. Oh, guard, you can die already, please. Please die. Die faster. Die faster. There he goes. In a cloud of poison death. So we're going to take a little bit of walk down the ramp here. Or just look at the pretty water, because that is very nice water. I do have to say that is nice water. That is, of course, the main gate. People in general are always going to look for the straightest path between 2 points. That is regularly not going to be a good idea, because that's where all the defenders are going to be. This is why you look for other angles, which we'll be exploring in a moment. Got more guards getting brought down. because all the defenders moved to the inner keep. But what are we going to spot in a moment? This is going to be the most interesting tactical discovery so far. Looking around, looking around. And freeze it. What is that? That, my friends, is a destructible wall. And what do you see just to the left of the destructible wall? That is a way leading up to it. So this, I was mistaken, this has 3 gates to it. And this is a ledge within firing range of the destructible wall that is just inside the gate. Meaning you can destroy the gate, move a couple of feet forward, and set up a catapult or a trebuchet. We don't do that. Instead, we continue to directly assault the Reds standing in front of the gate as what looks like they build cannons and other weapons. And you'll see some arrow carts flying. I'm not sure if the arrow carts are ours or theirs. Let's see if we can see who owns them. Nope. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a path along the other way to see what range we might be sitting at. So we can't target it from here. However, if you go just to the left of the destroyed gate, right in front of the supply depot, meaning you could also block off access to the supply depot so they can't repair the gates or build defenses or anything like that. And possibly target the walls from here. Or come in through this gate, which no one thought of, which would provide you a little bit of cover. But this was April Beta Weekend event, so it was direct, direct, direct. Now, for the defenders, I'm going to draw your attention to what I'm walking on right now. Yes, it is yet another one of those wonderfully positioned plateaus. Right along the wall. I just wanted to point out, look at that fire. Look at the fire from that trebuchet. How could you not want to see more of those firing? You want to see a row of those firing. You just want to see an assault, just because it's so dang pretty. Anyway, this is another plateau that would be perfectly positioned to set up your own siege engines to destroy theirs. Or even to target the people pounding uselessly against the gate. Remember, siege engines don't have to be built just to attack. You can build them to defend. That's something I would like to test on the next Beta Weekend event, is to gauge the ability of each of the siege engines. So here is where I take the amazing leap, and somehow I miss the water. Yeah, that's the pinnacle of skill right there. Oh, and as you can see, I happily got my second short bow ability. And here is where I realize that there are no destructible underwater gates. I was very disappointed by this. I'm hoping that because those are positioned where they are, that it'll be something put in later. Or it was a bug or something like that. Just because it's kind of a nice thing to have. I mean, you can't get really siege engines through there, and you could still be fired on from all sides. But, it seemed like a good little addition. Now we time-lapsed a little bit, so we get back outside the gate, and oh look! Enemies! Yeah, it was about this point when I came to realize this siege was going to fail. Something I addressed in the previous videos is knowing when to retreat. This is one of those times when you retreat. Because of the nature of early world versus world, there's not going to be a large number of waypoints. So when people die, they have to trek all the way back. So you're pretty much going to be stuck with whatever force you start the siege with. Because you don't want people trickling in by 2s or 3s. You want to have a large, overwhelming force. You want to be able to pour through the gates or the walls or whatever and hit them hard. Because unlike structured player versus player, world versus world really is a numbers game. Those with more players will generally win. It also helps to steamroll the attacking enemy players. So generally you want to travel around with a large pack. I use the term large loosely, because then you'll think, oh, well, he's supporting Zergs. No. You want to have a group of people with you to scout, to look around, to cover your back. Because remember, it takes 40 supply to build a ramp. So you're going to want to make sure those people have supply on them. And as we see the enemy pouring out of the gate, our attempted siege of Dreadfall Bay has failed. Why did it fail, you might ask? Well, it failed for two main reasons. The primary being there was no coordination, and the gate shut. And they're repairing it. The main thing was there was no coordination. Notice I did have it on combat chat, but there was no direction, there was no angles, there was no figuring out where to put things. There was no plan. It was just mass up and be uncoordinated. Keeps, rather than towers, are going to require a lot of coordination, as our tour of Stone Mist Keep demonstrated. You're going to want to be focused, and you're going to want to have a good, reliable group. One of your best ideas when you're attacking a keep is to open at least 2 points of entry. They can be along the same walls. Actually, they might be better along the same walls. Maybe a destroyed wall and the gate. 2 destroyed walls. Someplace where so that the enemy cannot focus on a single location. Spread the love out. So, looking at the map here, what could be some viable strategies for attacking this keep? Well, as we looked at it, you've got the one outcropping right near the destructible wall, near the south gate entrance. There's also 3 destructible walls right there. So you can set up a bunch of trebuchets to take advantage of those walls. Now, you've also got the plateau over there, which might be used with trebuchets. We'd have to kind of gauge the distance that they can sit at. There's a lot of little areas, and as you'll see when we resume, you can set siege engines right on the bridge. It gives you a nice little choke point. You can set them on the other side of the bridge. Know the terrain. Look at this map here. Figure out where the elevated positions are, and remember that you can set up siege engines on it. And from the defender side, first you've got that nice little plateau that we pointed out earlier. You've got whole areas of walls to cover. You can also flank them. You don't have to go out through the gates. Notice the area I jumped down earlier. You can jump in there and head around, and while it was intelligent to have that trebuchet positioned far enough back to where it couldn't be directly attacked by the defenders coming out of the gate, it is extremely open to a counterattack from the water. You're going to want to watch your siege engines, and if you notice to the south there, blue possesses Bluebriar. which means they also control the supply area nearby. Before you do any attack like this, you're going to want to cut off their supply. Just simple tactics there. You don't want them to be able to repair the gate, or the walls, or the defenses. So as we resume the last little bit of our tour here, this was footage taken much later. I had been touring other areas, and I came back to find about a couple hours later that it had been retaken. Green had successfully taken the bay. Now, as you can see up here, we've got a trebuchet sitting on the bridge, which means the trebuchet was, of course, targeting the gate. Again, we just love the targeting of the gates. Let's see if I can successfully jump into the water this time without, losing all my health. Mission accomplished. Okay. Look at that. Just look at that. There is a ram at the gate. If you have a ram at the gate, word of advice, don't use a trebuchet on the gate too. Remember what I said, open up a second route. Focus it someplace else, because the trebuchet is not going to be as effective against that wall as the ram is. You're just wasting your time. It would be much more advantageous to target a wall and a gate and bring them both down slower than it is to open that single choke point so everyone can AoE the hell out of your guys as they go through it. Don't give the advantage to the enemy. So we're going to enter inside. Little keep area here. Some dead bodies, always pleasant. And we've got the Keep Lord. Alright. You remember in the Titan Paw video when I was talking about the Orbs of Power? Well, here's an Altar of Power. If you capture an Orb of Power, this is where it would go. Now, I am not sure if capturing the altar gives you the specific Orb of Power, or if when you bring it there, it stays there, and whoever captures the keep captures the orb. But it could be slightly advantageous to take keeps that have the Orbs of Power in them. I really wish they'd come with a more original name. It's like Orb of Power that sits upon the altar of power, in the seat of power, upon the star of power, and the second star to the right of power. Adding of power to something doesn't necessarily make it powerful. So we come around here to some more defenses, a nice little short tower here. And if you notice, the inner keep is pretty much situated like a standard tower. It's got a couple of avenues of entry, some destructible walls. The main thing, and its pretty effective barrier, is the giant pool of water around it, which was why castles always had moats, or at least some of them did. So we're just going to come around back to the front. Check out the other side. So we've got another supply area here. We're going to look at the upgrades. And they're all pretty much the same. They are patrol, second workers, more guards, raise guard level, cannons, mortars, waypoint. Remember, don't take positions if you don't think you can defend them. It doesn't help. It doesn't help your score to take a whole bunch of areas just to lose them in the next hour. Capture an area, bring in people with money or the means, build up defenses, reinforce the walls, reinforce the gates, and then move on to taking a next location. This will be difficult early in launch when people are still working on building up money, building up reputation, all that sort of stuff. But as time goes on, and people do develop that money, that's going to be the main secret to victory. Defending your territory so others can't take it. Then you can focus on taking their territory more than going back and trying to recapture your own territory. Think about it. The more time you spend attacking theirs, and the less time you spend defending yours, is eventually going to give you more points than them, and thereby winning world versus world for that period. Alright guys, it has been a good episode, a good exciting episode. I was very happy about this one. So, everyone, until next time, game on and take care.